Here are some of the highest paying associate degrees. Most of the time I talk about bachelor's degrees, but it's important to know that you don't need a 4-year college degree to make decent money. In a lot of cases, spending time and money on a bachelor's degree just isn't worth it. That's why over 75% of American graduates regret spending so much money on their degree. Now the point of my videos isn't to say that you shouldn't do one thing or you need to do another thing. All I want to do is to expose you to new options so you can make the best career decisions for yourself. You might need to start earning money without having to go to a bunch of school, and that's totally okay. So that's why today I'll be talking about the 10 highest paying degrees that you can get from a community college. These degrees are cheap to get, will land you a solid job, and will allow you to earn just as much, if not more, than most people with bachelor's degrees. The degree in the #1 spot pays over $100,000. So comment right now what you think it is, and let's see who gets it right. Coming in at number 10, we have an associate's degree in respiratory care. As part of these degrees, you'll take a bunch of science classes like bio, but also get real clinical experience. After all of that, you'll become an expert in treating people who have problems breathing, like asthma. Most people who get associates in respiratory care tend to become respiratory therapists at hospitals, but it's becoming more and more common for them to get hired at nursing homes and even clinics. After you graduate with your associates, you'll have to take a test to get certified as an actual respiratory therapist, and then you'll have to get a license to practice in whatever state you live in. To be honest, an associate's degree is the absolute bare minimum you need to become a respiratory therapist, but it's a great way to get started in the industry early on. To progress in your career, you might find you have to go back to school to get a bachelor's. In general though, starting out of school, you'll make around $52,000, and then after a few years of experience, the median salary is $61,000. That's not bad for a 20-year-old. What makes respiratory care a really good idea though, is that the industry is growing way faster than average, at 19%, so you should have no problem finding a job. You can also take some more tests after your certification to become a registered respiratory therapist, and that would help you increase your salary and get some managerial roles. In 9th place, we have a degree that's a little less common, an associate's in Avionics maintenance technology. This degree teaches you the ins and outs of how to maintain and repair the most important pieces of an airplane, like the engine, so it sets you up to become an avionics technician. Avionic technicians tend to work for private airlines, but a lot of them also work for the military. Now you don't actually need an associate's degree because you can become an avionics technician just by going to trade school and getting some certifications by the FAA and FCC. But getting your associates will definitely increase your chances of finding a job and getting a higher salary. You could expect a median salary of $64,000, and there's also really high demand for the job. So an AMT degree is a great option for those of you who like hands-on work but want a high-paying job without having to spend a bunch of time and money on a bachelor's degree. Holding the number 8 spot is engineering technology. This is probably the most versatile degree on this list. You can become a technician in basically any engineering field, from industrial engineering, where technicians make $56,000, to mechanical engineering, where technicians make $57,000. But the highest paid technicians by far are in aerospace engineering. It's because of these people that Elon Musk was able to send a car to space. They basically help aerospace engineers when it comes to testing and designing anything that can fly. Now you might be surprised that you only need an associate's degree, but that's because the job is really hands-on and you're always supervised by an actual engineer who has at least a bachelor's degree. Aerospace is a smaller industry than most others, so you really need to know what you're doing before you find a job, but the industry is growing at 7%, so that shouldn't be a problem. You're also paid really well, with an average salary of $66,000, and if you find you want to further your career, you can always go back to school to get your bachelor's or even a master's, and you'll get a bump in your pay to around $117,000. If you want to know more about engineering degrees at the bachelor's level, then feel free to check out this video over here. In 7th place, we have an associate's degree in web development. Now this is one of the fields where the degree you have doesn't really matter at all, because all companies care about are your coding skills, and you can easily learn that by yourself on your own time. Web development is exactly what it sounds like. You help build all the technical stuff in the background of a website and also design exactly how it looks. Good web developers are more important now than ever before, because companies can't survive unless they have an online presence, and that's why web developers can make a ton of money. A lot of them don't even have degrees, but not everyone can force themselves to sit around for hours on end every day learning to code. So an associate's can really help you if you need motivation and structure to learn. If you're seriously thinking about web development, I recommend you look up places you might want to work and then figure out what coding languages they want you to know. Then make sure you choose a program that can make you an expert in those languages. The great thing is that once you learn web development and coding, you can use those skills to get a lot of different high-paying jobs. You could start your own web development business, work for a startup, or even get a job at a big tech company. Some people earn well into the 6 figures, but the average salary for a web developer is $74,000. If you find this video helpful so far, do me a huge solid and hit that like button because that really helps my channel grow. Coming in at number 6 is a 2-year degree in sonography. You might not know what this is at first glance, but I'm almost positive that you've seen a sonographer's work at some point in your life. Sonographers are the people who do ultrasounds on pregnant women. They get those little pictures we see of unborn babies. But that's just a small piece of what they do. A lot of medical sonographers work in hospitals to find tumors and inspect organs before surgery. Because the scope of what you can do is so wide, there's a bunch of different specializations you could choose from, like these. Most medical sonographers just have an associate's degree. You don't really need a bachelor's, but you do have to be very careful with where you choose to go to school. The program you choose has to be accredited by the CAAHP, otherwise hospitals have no way of telling if you got the right training. Like with all the other medical jobs, you're going to have to take a test to get certified and get a license to practice. If you go for your associates right after high school, you can become a fully licensed medical sonographer by the time you're 20 years old, and you'll be making around $50,000. That's about the average salary a person makes when they graduate with a 4-year degree. But your salary is only going to go up from there. The average medical sonographer makes around $74,000, and the field is growing by 12%, so it only makes sense that this is one of the best associate degrees you could get. At number 5, we have an associate's degree in dental hygiene. For the 2 years you're in a dental hygiene program, you're going to learn everything you need to know about taking care of teeth, and when you graduate, you'll be all set to become a dental hygienist. Now, I really hope you're familiar with what dental hygienists do, because you should be seeing them a few times a year. They're the people who clean our teeth whenever we go to the dentist. All you need to become one is an associate's degree, but in some places where it's more competitive, it might be more helpful to get a bachelor's. Accreditation is also really important for dental hygienist programs. If the schools you're looking into aren't accredited by the CDA, then you should probably look into other options. Once you graduate from an accredited program, you're going to have to take the National Board of Dental Hygiene exam, and you'll also have to take a state license test. Even though it only takes 2 years to graduate with their associate's degree, a lot of people will take an extra year just to study for all of these tests to guarantee they pass them the first time around. But all that work is well worth it, because once you graduate, you'll make more than what most people with a bachelor's degree make, at $60,000, and you could eventually expect to make over $76,000. And there's actually more demand for dental hygienists than actual dentists, so if you want a practical, low-stress, high-paying job, then you might want to look into this. Taking 4th place is an associate's in nuclear medicine technology. You'll learn about different types of drugs and how to use machines that scan bodies, like MRI machines and CT scanners. Once you graduate, you can become a nuclear medicine technologist, which is actually a relatively new medical field. Your main job would involve injecting radioactive drugs into people to make their body parts glow and make them easier to see when they're scanned. There's a lot of different types of scans that need this, but some of the more common ones are for the heart, brain, and thyroid. In a lot of places, you'll also be the person who's doing the actual scan. As you could guess, you really need to know what you're doing. So before they hire you, hospitals make sure you have a degree that's accredited by the JRC NMT. You also have to get certified, and 2 of the most common ones are the NMTCB and the ARRT. These certifications are also separate from the state license that you'll have to get. If you keep up with my channel, you've probably heard me talk about the ROI of your degree, or the return on your investment. Simply put, a good ROI is when you spend money on something that earns you a lot more money. If you spend $20,000 a year on a bachelor's degree and take out $80,000 in student loans to get that, but you only get paid $60,000 when you graduate, then that's not a great ROI. An associate's in nuclear technology has an amazing ROI, with the cost being way less than a bachelor's, but the average salary being around $78,000. Plus, the fact is that as the population ages and more people get conditions like heart disease, the demand for nuclear technologists is only going to go up. Coming in at number 3, we have a degree that sounds pretty similar, but it's way different. Nuclear science. This is going to set you up to become a nuclear technician, which is actually a pretty cool job. You'll be helping operate and monitor nuclear power reactors. As part of your degree, you're going to learn things like nuclear physics and fluid mechanics. So this is perfect for those of you who like science, but want to start earning money without having to go to a bunch of school. There's also a ton of different certifications you can get, like the ASNT and the IRRSP, which is valid in over 170 countries, and all you need to get it is to pass a 4-hour test. Obviously, they need to make sure you know exactly what you're doing before they let you operate a nuclear power reactor by yourself. So once you get hired, you also go through a bunch of on-the-job training. How long it takes really depends on where you work and how well you apply what you learn in school. On the lower end, it can take 6 months, but on the higher end, it can take up to 2 years. The pay is really high for an associate's degree at $82,000. That's because not many people want to do this job. It's pretty risky because you can be exposed to radiation. Plus, nuclear reactors never shut off, so you'll have to work night shifts and weekends. The biggest downside though is that the industry is actually losing jobs as solar and wind become more important. That's not to say it's impossible to get a job as a nuclear technician, because we still need nuclear power, but it might just be a little harder than some of the other jobs on this list. Careers like solar panel and wind turbine techs have much better job prospects, and if you want to learn more about those, then check out this video over here where I go into a bunch of detail on them. In second place are radiation therapy programs. These programs prepare you to become a radiation therapist who help treat cancer patients. I know I've talked about accreditations way too much in this video, but that's because I really want you to understand how important they are. If you go to a school that's not accredited, it's going to be tough for you to find a job. For radiation therapy, you want your school to be accredited by the JRC ERT. Most states also want you to have a certification by the ARRT before you can get a state license. A huge plus is that radiation therapy is one of the few medical careers where you don't have to work night shifts and you can have a regular 40-hour work week. You'll definitely have some great work-life balance, which will leave you time to enjoy your high salary of $86,000. And with a 7% job growth rate, you won't struggle to find a job. And finally, in the #1 spot is an AT-CTI associate's degree. This is the type of degree you need if you want to become an air traffic control specialist. This is the hardest, most stressful career on this list, which is why they're paid so much money. Air traffic controllers have to monitor every single plane in the sky and tell them where exactly they need to go. One wrong move and hundreds of people can die. That's why they have to go through super intense training and pass a bunch of different types of tests. There's even a few tests to make sure you're physically and mentally fit for the job. Now, there are different tiers for each training level, and each has its own salary. But on average, an air traffic control specialist makes around $123,000. So all of that training and stress might very well be worth it. If you're still watching this video, I really appreciate you. Let me know if you're interested in any of these degrees, and take a second to hit that like button and subscribe here if you haven't already. Check out one of these videos because you might enjoy them. But until next time, peace.